All right. Our next guest has known Larry since he came to Brockville. They met playing squash at that time. I think at the Y, and they've been friends ever since. They've played golf, vacationed together, and forged a great relationship over the years. About 17 or 18 years ago, soon after Brent joined the Rotary Club, he convinced Larry to do the same, and have most recently worked together to make the Rotary Park project a success. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brent Collett.
Good evening. Joe had told me earlier in the evening that I was going to be near the end, but here we are. And I was just ready to get my dessert. So,
dessert for you.
I'm glad I'm right after Ben, because, you know, I could do a little takeoff on what Ben has talked about. And I've got a few things here. And Larry and I go back probably, well, I'm a surveyor, and I surveyed the lot that Larry bought the house on. I surveyed that house for him, and he moved in. And then from there, I got engaged. We played squash. I said to my girlfriend at the time, "You gotta see this guy play squash." And she goes, "Why?" I said, "Because he does cartwheels on the court. I've never seen anybody like it." The guy said he's from Point. And he seems like a nice guy. So she came out to see the game, and sure enough, Larry was there doing his cartwheels. And so we bought a house. We got engaged and bought a house. Karen and I got married, and we assumed the mortgage of the property, the house, and we went into Canada Trust to see about that assumed mortgage, and there was Larry Journal. So he looked after that, so that was good. So anyways, I got this email from Larry, and this is the first I've heard about this. He says, "Brent, I happen to be the chairman of the Rotary Park revitalization of Rotary, and Larry's a big part of that. And Larry's a big part of Rotary, and I'm a past president. And Larry was my secretary at the time, and then Larry became president a few years ago. And so Larry says in this email, I resign. I'm moving to Baffin Island, wherever you're going, somewhere up there, and I'm resigning from the core committee of the revitalization of Rotary Park as of today." I thought, okay, isn't this wonderful? So he says, you know, Brent, and then he says almost in a PS, "You've been a long-time friend, and you and your family can come up and visit any time." I thought, ew. So anyways, so what I've got here, Larry, could you stand up and just move about 3 paces that way for me, please? So what I've got, I've got to get my anger out of the way. I've been wanting to do that for the last couple months, ever since I got that email. It really ticked me off. So I'm going to pass this over to Jackie, because she can need that in the years to come. And yeah, don't use it in the 3/4 of the year. Yeah. So now that we got a bit of my frustration out of the way,
Can't do it again.
That's waterproof.
So I'm going to go back to way back in those days. I knew that Larry and I were going to be good friends when we went on a vacation together, and we were down in Antigua. And we're out in the ocean, and we're riding the waves. And Larry is probably about 50 feet away from me. And I got up after tumbling around the waves. I realized that my bathing suit had fallen off me. And I was standing, I'm in the ocean with nothing on. I said, "Larry," he goes, "What's wrong?" I said, "I've lost my bathing suit." And he reached reaches down and pulls out of the water. He's 50 feet away in the ocean. He says, "Is this it?" My first reaction was, how am I going to get to the beach? And how am I going to get... And Larry's got my beach. Out of the whole ocean, it comes up and rubs up against Larry's leg. Man, what a friend Larry is. I can't believe it. How did he do that? So, we went on. That's Larry. That's Larry. I don't know how he got my bathing suit off, but he did. And so anyways, I joined the Rockford Country Club years and years ago, and this is before Larry joined, and before Ben started taking Larry on vacation. And I'm sorry, Ben, I should have warned you when he asked, when you thought about Larry going on a golf trip with you. But this particular time, I was a member, and I thought, well, this would be nice to invite Larry out for a golf game at the country club. And so we went out, and the first few holes, Larry was, as Ben had described, he really hit the ball a long ways, but it never, a lot of times it wasn't always going straight. It was here and there, and we were trying to find the balls. And so we got to the 7th hole, and it was a raised tee, and it had started to rain. And whenever he gets up to the tee, and the typical, and he kind of gets his tongue out, and he's winding up, and he's talking to his ball, and then he swings, and he's raised his arm, and all of a sudden, I don't see a club in his hand. I only hear this like a helicopter, and we look, both Larry and I are looking up, and this club just keeps going up in the air, up in the air, up in the air, and it all of a sudden drops, and it drops right on the green that we had just come from. I thought, oh my God, because there was people on the green. And there's one was sitting there not that far from them. I thought, oh, I'm going to be kicked out of the country club. This is bad. So I just kind of thrown it. Larry went right down and apologized, picked up his club, and the guy came right up to him about an inch from him. And so, what do you think this is? Caddyshack? So that was my introduction to Larry on a golf course. And quite frankly, I didn't invite him back for a couple of years. I thought this was it. And then all of a sudden he joined the country guy. I thought, how did you ever get in here? Because I wasn't his... I didn't use him to referee. So that was our goal. So needless to say, Ben, I've never experienced a week away with Larry, but just 18 holes.